Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa sallallahu ala rasulillah. We're in part 2. So let's go ahead and mention a verse from the Quran. Allah revealed, Laysa kamithlihi shay. And now, inshallah, what we'll do is we'll explain this verse, inshallah. We'll write it in Arabic, and then we'll give the transliteration in English and also explanation. Okay, and in English, or transliterated. Wait, copy at least the transliteration. And then we'll break it down. We'll give the meaning. Let me write the meaning, and then I'll give you can copy it. The meaning of the verse, we'll put it here, the explanation, the interpretation. And then we'll explain.
Can you read your book real quick?
Okay, let's go through. So laysa is a negation term, meaning not. Ka is a prefix. It's all one word, but I separate it just so it's a prefix to this word. It's not the word itself. Ka means like, meaning similar. In Arabic, sometimes you hear the Arabic guys, they'll say, kadhalika. Dhalika means that. Kadhalika, like that. Kadhalika, like that. Mithl means like, same meaning similar. I don't mean like, meaning being fond of. He, meaning him, referring to Allah. Shay means a thing. This is the literal meaning. And now we'll explain how it is. Or step by step, Sister Sally, step by step. So we understand the right belief, inshallah. And then we can defend the religion better. Laysa kamithlihi shay. This verse we mentioned over and over. Brother Micah, you may have heard that maybe a couple of times at the center. And this is from Ash-Shura 11. Ash-Shura 11. That's the reference. Laysa kamithlihi shay. Repeat. Laysa kamithlihi shay. That's it. One more time. Laysa kamithlihi shay.
Laysa kamithlihi shay.
So now let's go through and break it down word for word. Laysa, we said, means not. Then you have this word ka mithl, not like. So this double word like is carrying what? Emphasis. Okay? Not like him, not like Allah, a thing. So this doubling of the word ka means like. Mithl also means what? Like. So it means an absolute and categorical negation of any comparison between the Creator and the creation. So that's why we said there's absolutely nothing like Allah whatsoever. Some people will say, they'll translate the verse or interpret the verse, they'll say nothing is like Him. That's okay. But it doesn't give the full magnitude, or closer to the magnitude in English of the meaning of the verse. So we're not just saying nothing is like Allah in a relative sense, but also in a what? Absolute sense.
Yeah.
You follow?
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt, yeah. So it's this what? Absolute. Whatsoever. Nothing is like Allah whatsoever. There's absolutely nothing like Allah whatsoever. So it's carrying this emphasis that the Creator is absolutely different from the creations. Because when it comes to the creations, they are what? Similar to each other. I can say about Dhunun in the relative sense that nobody is like Brother Dhunun. Meaning nobody is what? Identical to him. You follow? Nobody is identical to Brother Dhunun. But I can say that Brother Dhunun is similar to Brother Micah. Okay? Because they are both humans.
Yeah.
You follow? So relatively, there's nobody what? Identical to Brother Dhunun. But we are all similar to each other. As I am similar to the board. Why? The board has a size, shape, has an age. I have a size, shape, and age. You follow? The board, we talked earlier about what particles. It's composed. I am what? Composed. The table, I'm similar to the table. It has a mass, a weight. I have a mass. You follow? It has an age. It occupies space. I occupy space. So we are all in some ways similar to other what? Creations. The verse is telling us Allah is absolutely different from all the creations. Absolutely. Yes, Habibati.
May I translate it?
Yes.
Okay. It says, Laysa kamithlihi shay.
Very good. Very good. Superb. Alhamdulillah. So this verse is carrying that meaning. So for example, the Wahhabis, they don't understand the meaning of this verse. They think Allah has body, shape, form, but is not identical to the other bodies, shapes, and forms. Whereas the Muslims, we say body, shape, and form does not apply to Allah because Allah is what? Absolutely different from all the creations. They understand God being different from the creations relatively. There's nothing, He's a body according to their belief. Their God is a body, has a shape and a form, but different from the other bodies, shapes, and forms. When we would say shape, body, form, that applies to us and all the other things you look around and see. And the Creator is what? Absolutely not like any of the creation. So shape, form, locality, distance, direction, mass, color, motion, stillness, none of that applies to Allah. Because Allah absolutely doesn't resemble any of the creations. So this is the key verse. There are other verses. We're going to talk about a couple of more in a few minutes. But this is the key verse in understanding why our belief when we speak about Allah Ta'ala being completely different from all creations. So now let's continue from the book. How much time, Sayyid Tara?
18 minutes.
Okay, we're good. So we gave the explanation of this verse. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ shay. This is Ash-Shura. Which number? 11. Know this. So now let's continue. It was related that a group of Jews came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they did not come to ask questions to know the truth. A lot of times they would come and try to ask trick questions, things like this. This is how they were. This is how they are, many of them. Okay, I'm not saying all, because some of the people who were from a Jewish background became Muslim, but they often, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in particular in Medina, lots of trouble came from the Jewish tribes. So anyway, they came to the Prophet and they said, "O Muhammad, describe to us your Lord whom you worship." Then Allah Ta'ala revealed Suratul-Ikhlas. So we're going to go through and give an explanation. The surah starts with the Basmala, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Then Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Allahu samad, lam yalid, wa lam yulad, wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. So let's go through the first verse. Qul huwallahu ahad. What does it mean? Say, meaning, O Muhammad, say to them, tell the people, Allah is ahad. Qul huwallahu ahad. And then we're going to break this down. So if you want to copy this is good because we're going to give the explanation.
I'm gonna take it and break it down.
Okay, as you wish. That's a good idea. Qul huwallahu ahad. When Bilal al-Habashi was being tortured by the pagans, by the idolaters, they would put like big rocks on his chest. And in the desert, you imagine today was like 100 something. So what about in the desert? You had another 20 degrees to it. And they put these rocks on his chest and they would tell him to say blasphemy. And he would be saying, Ahadun, Ahad, Ahadun, Ahad, meaning Allah is one. And we're going to explain what we mean by this.
And the boulders had to be hot.
Hot. And then heavy and tied down in the desert. The sand is hot. MashaAllah, they sacrifice. How did the religion reach us? Because of their sacrifice. He didn't die from that. But just how steadfast they were. You have people now apostating because they want to be accepted, like voluntarily offering a kufr so that they can be accepted. Here you have our forefathers in the deen, they are being tortured. And our foremothers. Lady Sumayya was killed. She was not going to say blasphemy. And they killed her. This is how there was those types of people, alhamdulillah, that enabled the religion to reach us. Look at these people now. Can you imagine these clowns? Like, if the deen were left in their hands? I'm not saying we're like the companions, but meaning these other clowns. You see these clowns. They will deny what the Prophet came with, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because they want to be accepted by these people. They're not even threatening them, just to be what? Accepted. وَيَعْذُ بِاللَّهِ تَعَالَى. Okay, the name of Allah, Al-Ahad. It comes from the same root as the name we learned, we talked about, Al-Wahid. Al-Wahid. And this is related to the same root as what? We talked about the science of what?
Demand.
What's that?
Tawheed.
The science of Tawheed. Tawheed. The same root letters are there. The W, the H, and the what? D. Okay? And Al-Wahid, we'll explain what this means. But we said Tawheed is the science of what? Oneness. Ahad doesn't have it because there's a rule, because of the W. There's a rule in the grammar. So it doesn't carry the W in it. Okay? But it's part of the word. It's part of the word. So they come from the same root. So you have the W, the H, the D. In general, when you count, you say Wahid, Ithnan, Thalatha. Wahid means one. Now when we say Allah is Al-Wahid, the one, now we'll explain that inshallah. And then we'll say that it's connected to the name Al-Ahad, because this name has a vaster meaning than this name. Inshallah, we'll explain it, inshallah. But they are, what is in this name is in this name and more. How much time on the clock? Okay, good. Let's keep going. So Al-Wahid, if you're in the Saturday lesson, we talked about it. So we said, remember, all of this is talking about what? Tawheed. And Al-Wahid, for Allah, this is the name of Allah. Al-Wahid means the one. And what does that mean? Without a partner, because we say what? La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. That Allah is one without a partner. The one without a partner. Meaning what? No one is the creator except Allah. No one creates except Allah. The particles, we just explained, the particles can't what? Create. They can't create. Okay? The causes, in reality, they don't what? Create. The fire itself does not create burning. But the norm is when the fire, for example, comes in contact with the paper, it what? It burns. But it's not the fire itself that wills for the paper to burn. Because the fire doesn't have a what? Will. Does fire have knowledge? No. So it can't specify something else to be other than what it is. It lacks knowledge, it lacks will. The fire, it doesn't have it. So Allah is one without a partner, and the other meaning for al-wahid is the unique. So when we say Allah is one, the unique meaning without a what? Similar. Without a similar.
That's strong, brother. Yeah.
Praise be to Allah Ta'ala. At-Tawheed. Allah. The one without a partner, meaning no one else, no creator except Allah. We used to mention to the brothers, you have these criminals who will tell the Muslims, you don't need to go into this. What are you talking about? Don't go into this. This isn't, the Muslims, they don't need this. This is what they tell you.
This is what we need.
Absolutely. Your iman, you feel like it's going to jump out your chest when you go through a tawheed.
And it boosts your mind.
And your intellect. Your yaqeen, your certitude, and your intellect. And they say, don't go into all of this. It's not hard to understand. What do you mean, don't go into this? No, they say, don't go into this because we want to feed you gobbledygook. They say they want you to be dumbed down. Then we can, what they're saying, we can manipulate you. Oh, you have the children, 8, 9, 10 years old, they memorize this. Inshallah, they will despise kufr. They will see, like, not just from the iman point of view, but intellectually, it's very vile. It's very vile. So, the one without a partner, no creator except Allah, the unique, no similar. And in the root word of unique, we get what? Uni, right? And uni means one. Means one. So Allah is one and wahid. No one is the creator except Allah. This phenomena doesn't create. It can't specify. It can't specify. The wood, does it specify itself to be the way that it is? Does it specify itself with combustibility to be burnt by fire? The wood does not specify. Does the water specify itself to extinguish the fire? The water doesn't specify. The norm is, if the wood is on fire and you put enough water, then it will extinguish the fire. By the what? Norm. Which is by the will of Allah Ta'ala, because no one is the creator except Allah. These people, they want you to be hooked on causality. They want you to be hooked on causality because they can kind of manipulate things. Once you're hooked on causality, they got you.
Yeah.
When you know no one is the creator except Allah, this is the tawheed opens up. So Allah Ta'ala is one without a partner, and Allah Ta'ala is one without a similar. All of this is from the meaning of al-wahid. Al-wahid. Yeah, so this part is stretched. Al-wahid. This is the talk. This is Aqidah, Ilmul Kalam. This is the science of what? Tawheed, the science of God's oneness. The science of God's oneness. To know what befits the Creator and what doesn't, and what befits the creations and what doesn't. We mentioned Al-Junayd saying last week that Tawheed huwa ifradul qadim min al-muhdath, which Tawheed is the science, the branch of knowledge of distinguishing the beginningless, meaning Allah, from the originator. It's beautiful knowledge. You never get tired of talking about this knowledge. You've been around like 15 years. You don't ever get tired of hearing this. So high, perfect. Because we're talking about the Creator. طيب. Come? Okay, طيب. So now let's talk about Al-Ahad. So Al-Wahid Al-Ahad has a more comprehensive meaning than Al-Wahid. Al-Ahad. Say Allah is Ahad. So Al-Ahad, we're putting the prefix, the definite article on it. Al-Ahad means, what did we say the first meaning we mentioned? For Al-Wahid, what?
The one without a partner.
No partner. The second meaning?
No creator except Allah.
That's right, the meaning, but the second meaning.
Unique. The
The
unique.
unique, no similar. And the third meaning, which is the additional meaning, is no parts. Allah is Al-Ahad, who has no partners. No one is a creator except Allah. No what? Similar. Because Allah is the creator. Allah is one. If you understand Allah is one, then you know Allah has no what? Similar. Because we'll explain, we'll go back to this. And no what? Parts. Not divisible, not composed, and not what? Divisible. Allah is not composed, meaning doesn't have pieces, and not divisible, and not dividable. Divisible means what? Dividable. Allah Ta'ala is not composed of anything, and He's not dividable because He's not a body, not a shape, not a form. Divisibility is conceivable. The volume of water in here, can you divide it?
Yes.
Yeah, you take it into another cup and what? Pour it into it. Then the volume has been what? Divided. Right? If I leave it here long enough, it will what? Evaporate. Okay, so then what happened? Its parts went from one place to another. Okay? The pen, can you divide it? Is it conceivable? Yes, it's conceivable. My body, I can clip my nails, for example. What? I can shave my part of a little bit of my beard, trim it. Now, I'm a body, I am what? Divisible. This chair, is it divisible?
Yes.
Yes, divisible. I'm not saying visible, seeable, divisible. Okay? Is the chair, is the table divisible?
Yes.
You get a chainsaw and what? Cut it into parts. It has shape, form, and dimensions. The shape, we can take a formal shape like a square. Is it divisible?
Yes.
Yes. Is there, from our perspective, there's what? Upper part, lower part.
Two sides.
There are what? Sides. It's what? Divisible. You follow? The body has a shape and a form. It occupies space. That which occupies space is what? It has dimensions to it. Even if I draw a random shape, it's still what?
Divisible.
It's still divisible. Yes, lady?
And make sure you don't forget the angles.
And it has angles to it. It's a geometric form. The Creator is not a form, not a definite shape, not an indefinite shape, or irregular shape, you could say. Or Allah Ta'ala is not like the water. The water, a liquid, will take the shape of what? The container. The air has a what? Indefinite shape. The air in this room has an indefinite shape. Allah Ta'ala is not something with what? Parts. No dimensions. No size. These things don't what? Apply. You follow? They don't apply. So just as we don't say about God a color, we say color does not what? Apply. Texture, like how something feels. Like the water has a different texture from the table. When the table has a different texture from my kufi. The texture applies to what? Bodies and objects. Allah Ta'ala does not have a texture. Allah doesn't have a what? Volume, occupation of space, having a what? Size, or a what? Mass, a weight. Allah Ta'ala is clear of all that. Because what do we say? Allah is one, meaning Allah has no partner, meaning Allah is the one and only creator. Allah is the only creator. Since Allah is the creator, Allah must have existed before the creations. So that there will tell you that Allah alone is beginningless because He's the only creator. And everything else is a creation. So the one who is without a partner, who is the creator, will have no what? Similar.
Because the one that's similar, the creations, they are all similar in the regard, in many regards, but they have a what? Beginning. That which has a beginning, all in that sense, we are all what? Similar. Every one of us in this room has a beginning. The building has a what? Beginning. The materials that make us and the building have a what? Beginning. Allah Ta'ala has no similar because He has no partner, because He has no beginning. Allah is the only creator. And since we know Allah Ta'ala is one God, the only creator, who must have existed before the creations, which we already said He has no similar, then He would have no parts. Because Allah existed before space existed. Space having size, shape, volume, Allah existed before any of those things existed. This is Tawheed. So we don't worship any of the creations. Okay, well, let's take a break. We'll continue bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Walhamdulillah wa sallallahu ala